Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, the Smith of the Black, and it's Tuesday, it's a Strat Attack show, and we get the urban assault vehicle and see what's going on. So oftentimes you'll hear me talk about just scanning to know what's going on, and so to start off the year here, we've got our XLE that we've been waiting for a long time, and you can see this inside year to the upside in XLE, right, to start off the year, and that's good all year, so long as it's above this stuff. And the good thing about this is that you can see how much higher it's been in the past. Right, so with a lot of things blasting into all-time highs, that's good, right? That means we got a lot more room to take out. And you can see how just watching like a macro basis really helped you as far as XLE going in the past, because you're going to see all this stuff here. You can see this, the outside year, the 2 down, the 3-2-2, and all the way back up, the inside year to the upside, and then taking this out, these became an outside bar of that. Then on the high, you had the 2 up, 2 down, reversal back down, right? And then spikes down, tries to go 3, doesn't make it. Then the inside year, the poke up, takes these guys out, but then boom, the change in continuity here for the 1 bar Rev Strat year. The inside year Momo shooter, boom, down. And then last year, we knew we had some distance to climb if we're not going to be an inside year, but you see how deep the continuity was. It was really good, but stays inside. And now back up. So a whole bunch of good stuff when you looking at macro vids to see what's going on. So to start off the year, ExxonMobil also in there with inside year to the upside with the XLE. So what we're going to be watching is to see how many more of these kick in, all right, as the year goes on. Just like today was very strong. We have a simultaneous break on all the monthlies that I talk about in the weekend video. And so you got Exxon, you've got Chevron. Also, inside year to the upside, APA here. Also, slightly inside year to the upside, but once again, you can see how high a lot of this stuff has been, right, back in the past. You go to SU here, taking the inside year to the upside, and you can see this chop range forever. And what's important is always seeing that taking out the low. Here, they tried to take her down and didn't work. So hopefully you get that inside year and you come back through all this kind of stuff. If you go to WLL, here you can barely see it because of these splits. And look at this. Look at how this on the split stuff. So this is above 71.61. You're there now, but you can see because of all the splits how ridiculously high this has been. If you go to Venom, here, also you can see that slight inside year to the upside. So obviously we're going to be keeping an eye on how many more of those break. If you go into the macro video, you see how many inside years there was there. If you go to Wells Fargo, also big down here after the inside year to the downside. Boom, the 312 Chicago year. And this is why a lot of people like to stay on the macro videos, because the quarterly signals are good all quarter. The yearly signals are good all year. And yeah, you can have some counter months, counter weeks, and stuff like that. Nothing's going to go straight up or straight down. But when they reset up, right, that you have a macro setup, right? So that just throws more tools your way, more fuel to the fire, if you will. If we go to Coke. Coke starting off as 312 outside, inside year. Just exhaustion. You see the difference here by going into the highs, right? So there's a little bit of a difference there. We like to have those used to be somebody's, especially with crude coming up the way it has. And if that continues, lots of fears last year when going to negative in crude. Now everything coming back to some higher prices. So that's going to be some good stuff. Okay, so if we go back to what's going on now in SPY, so we had the 2-2 reversal day like that, like so. The issue with a lot of things here is the weekly. Are we going to be strong enough to make for another outside week all the way up? Because a lot of things have a lot of distance to do that. If we go to QQQ here, you can see it had another nice day, these 2-2 reversals, 2 down, 2 up. And you can see this broadening formation here. You're going to be strong enough to get all the way through that. So as the week goes on, we want to see how strong that is, but you got some big, beefy things to climb. Usually you don't draw this until the end of the week, but you're going to see this plain as day. Your higher high and your lower low, and so oftentimes you get stalled in the middle. That could happen because not everything was really ripping today, but we'll see. If we go to the Dow Jones Diamonds trying to set up the hammer counter shooter, right? But could still roll back down. So you just have a lot of distance on these weeklies. So that's a little bit of an issue. So one of the things we're looking at is on a lot of those monthlies. Once again, is you're seeing like the XLE triggered the inside year and up off the inside month, Strat month 1, 2, 2 to trigger it. And that's good because that means just like when you're trading like a 60-minute, you want to break it down to a 30 or a 15. This way you can see there was corrective activity on the monthly, inside month, 2 down, before it broke that inside month to that inside year to the upside. And so these are the kind of combinations you can not only look for in this macro with monthly and yearly, but these are the combinations you want to look for through all time frames. I want to see if this sets up, what else would it trigger? Because if you watch the weekend shift with myself and Jermaine back, we also had the simultaneous break monthly in XLE here, right? Almost everything was 2 up. Right, so that's very important to know. So right now, if you go to the XLE monthly, almost everything is 2 up. PXD, there you go, the RevStrat 1, 2, 2, EOGs, all that kind of stuff. So when you have, the broader averages kind of stuck, or in a little bit of a dicey area, and how you're going to get out of all this stuff, one of the things we want to look for is who's not down here, right? Who's taken out last month's highs, right? And doing that, you're going to see it's a lot of energy, since also your Wells Fargo here, once again on that yearly, got set up on the month with corrective activity. 2 up, 2 down, boom. And if that works, it triggers the inside year to the upside. So always looking for these kind of combinations. And so once again, you've got a lot of the energies. There's your 2-2 reversal and Oxy. We're watching Bank of America. Hits magnitude, but 2 down, 2 up. And JP Morgan was an inside day today. Got a little more magnitude because you got that 2 down, 2 up. And another good thing about that I talked about in today's Strat Time report is the simultaneous break. So you have all these energies and all this kind of stuff breaking at the same time. Like slob here, you got all that kind of slob here. 2 down, 2 up. OIH. Here, what that tells you is that they're buying energy across the board, right? We've got like PSX inside month to the upside. How's MPC doing? MPC inside month to the upside. That tells you can go down the food chain, right? You go to look, even RIG is a 2-2, all right? This thing's garbage, right? But when they're coming for everything, that's a good thing. So you want to stay focused on stuff like that, because if you look, if do a scan, like I said, if you scan anybody that's taking out last month's highs, it's full of energy, right? It's full of it. Halliburton, Apache, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what we want to focus on. So I talked about it today already, but I can't reiterate that enough. Looking for simultaneous breaks. And what that is when you have a significant amount, almost everything triggering in the same direction as far as scenario, which you do. Right now, we've got short-term exhaustion risk by coming into the recent highs, but as I talk about a lot too, the old used to be somebody. If you go Devon, say, well, has this thing been higher in the past? You bet it has. It's been a lot higher. And take it out even further. There you go. Look at that. There you go. So you can see we've known about this broadening formation for a while, and here it is right here. So the question is going to be strong enough to get up into all this kind of stuff. So when I go through the charts on the weekend, I'll have my monthly, weekly, daily 60 up, but I'll have it up twice. I'll have 8 charts, so I can have different amount of bars on them, so I can see this used to be somebody, stuff like that, so I don't get caught in the vortex and saying, okay, well, and this is why it's important to do that, because some people will see this and say, wow, this is overbought, right? It's overbought. This is going to new highs. It's like, which isn't the case, right? When you look at the real long-term charts. So oftentimes I'll call it the vortex of the intraday chart. When people fail to look at multiple time frames and the longer time frames, and are only looking at the intraday chart and saying, well, I'm just day trading. I don't really need the bigger stuff. I'm like, yes, you do, because that's how you can determine that you should stay in a trade longer. and say that there's more to this, right? When you take it out and say, look, my magnitude on the weekly or whatnot is a lot higher, right? So that's just an important lesson on that stuff right now. So, like I said, a little dicey on certain stuff, like the SPY's monthly trying to come back to a doji. A lot of things went out on the highs, and everything's going to look good then. And so the question is here, is going to be strong enough to take that out, or just take this out? Because that would be the magnitude of these guys, because that would be these. If we go take it tomorrow, these 3 bars would become an outside bar of that. These 2. Then you got to climb this mountain. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But we'll see. So just a couple other ones. We look at Merck. And Merck, if you go to the monthly, here we've been watching this in the weekend vid. You can see all this chop shop mess. Right? But then you got the slight lower low here. So anybody who's long in here is gone, right? Then they tried to run, stop some guys out up there. So if you look at a monthly chart here, you're going to see this. There's your broadening formation, and the good part was here was too strong to take that out, right? And this is an outside bar, which is a broadening formation on a shorter time frame. And now you got the 2 down and the 2 up. So we're looking to climb this mountain unless you have a reversal against you. So I know these are a little bit longer term charts than most people use, but we want to use them all in conjunction because we can see the power of knowing all this stuff. You have yearly triggers, you have monthly triggers in the energies, and that led us to this rally that we've had to start off the year, and we were full aware of that. Off she goes, and not even a lower low as yet. Right here to start it off. So we're going to stick with that as long as we can. Obviously, there will be corrective activity, and that's good because that'll set us up again for that kind of stuff. So right now we got some of those breaks, like I said, happening in the financials, certainly the energies, a little bit of a dicey area to see if we're going to be able to really go blast into the highs. We've got CPI tomorrow, so we'll see what they say about inflation. And we know in the inflation trade, you got stuff like to keep an eye on, like Alcoa. Here would be a Rev Strat day. Inside day pokes down. You've got just more metals. Vale was coming up here. You've got Rio Tinto, SCCO. How's copper doing? So you can see that the inflation trade is still on as far as we know. But we're going to get some numbers tomorrow. That could change a few things, so we'll be aware of that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith in the Black, Strat Attack.